William. There are more people here than I thought there'd be. Isn't that Sarah? That's the start of it. Do your best. You know, it's okay if you don't win a medal.
Don't disrespect me with your tired excuses. A deal's a deal, even with a loophole. You're free to go. It's quiet here, apart from the rain. Helps me think. Something's on your mind. That's why I called you here today. Is it about the other night?
This is not what I signed up for.
What's your tone? Is there anything else?
I can't do this anymore.
Okay. I'm not stopping you from leaving. But you're still in debt to me.
Yeah, Carl, before you go in there, can you sit down, please?
Yeah.
We've had a very negative review from a customer. I just wondered if you could shed some light on it.
I don't know what she got so offended about.
This will lose us business. She'll go home, she'll tell a friend, she's already posted a bad review up online.
Well, Caroline, I'm delighted to be chatting with an award-winning writer and actor. Myself and Steve Evans here.
Hiya, Steve. Hiya, Terry. Yeah, I'm very excited to be talking to you guys as well. Fire away. Ask any questions, and I'll do my best to answer them in as honestly as possible.
Yeah. Are you still still living in the Chorley area then? Because that's where you brought up, and I take it you're still in that area, or have you moved?
No, I moved some years ago now. I moved to go down to drama school in London. So I moved when I was about, what age was I? About 2021 when I moved down to London. And I stayed in London for some time, but I decided that I couldn't. I'm from a small town, a market town, and I struggled with the big city life, really. So we, as soon as we could, we moved out of London. Me and my now husband, he was then my boyfriend, but we moved out of London as quick as we could, really. It's a great place, don't get me wrong, but when you live there for the amount of time that I lived there, like I was probably there about 15, 16 years or more, actually, and it just becomes too much, really. I think because I'm not a city girl, and I kind of I like the country life. I like the really slow life. London is not a slow life, so it was kind of, I wanted to get out of London as quick as possible, really. So I live in Surrey now, which is about near Woking. So it's like probably 30-minute journey on the train. So it's easy to get into London. It's easy to get to other places. It's a good train network. So I live in Surrey now. I work in London a lot. Majority of work is in London. Acting works in London. I do a lot of role play for St George's Medical School. And so I travel into London, into Tooting quite a lot for that. Auditions are always based in London, although they've changed quite a bit now, auditions, because there's quite a lot of self-tapes instead of actual in-person auditions.
Zoom
and
meetings and things.
Changed since COVID.
Okay.
Changed quite a lot, really. So you can self-tape at home. It's easy for me, really, because I've got an 11-year-old daughter. So it's easy for me to be able to do that because, you just set yourself up at home. And yes, you have to be your director. Yes, you have to be the lighting. Yes, you have to be the makeup. Yes, you have to be the costume. Yes, you have to be, you have to be the DOP as well. But I find it easier because then I'm not rushing into London and I'm able to do the auditions at home and able to have my family time as well. So it's easier for me now, but I know a lot of people find self-tapes. Yeah, they find it more difficult than in-person auditions because you have to be all those people,
Yeah.
you know.
Do you know
And,
what? Another actor we talked to him a couple of times, John Henry
Yeah.
Richardson. He was saying to us that in some ways the Zoom and the self tapes,
yeah,
in a way that gives an advantage to an inexperienced actor because they
yeah,
can do 20 takes on it until they get it actually perfect. Whereas
yeah,
previously turning up, for an audition in person,
yeah,
it's the experienced actor who's got that advantage because been there and done that in a way.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
levels things out maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. It does give opportunities to those that inexperienced or not got the experience under the belt. They've just come out of drama school, or they've just come out of training in other places, in uni, and or those who are wanting to get into the profession. And it does give them a bit more of an opportunity because, like you say, you can do up to 20. You could do how many takes you want. It doesn't have to just be up to 20. It could be how many takes you want to get it right. So there is absolutely an advantage. And there's also advantage for people that live outside London who actually would have to travel from Manchester, say, for an audition in London if it was an audition in London. So there's advantage for those people as well. There's advantage now for quite a lot of people who, traveling from all over the place just to be able to do it at home and send it in. And then quite a lot of the time they then do want to see you. If you've got a recall, they like to see you, or sometimes they just do a Zoom recall. There are options now for quite a lot of people. Casting directors, they either have an in-person audition or they'll do a Zoom recall. So you're right, there is an advantage for people who are not so experienced.
Okay. Good, Caroline, tell us what you do off stage, off camera, hobby wise. Your Twitter profile.
Hobbies,
You mentioned that you're learning the drums.
I am. Yes, I am learning the drums.
Don't you like your neighbours? Is that what it is?
I'll tell you what it is. Right, it was probably just after lockdown. No, it was actually before lockdown. We got our daughter a drum kit from Woking Hospice shop, and it was an acoustic set, and it was a kid's acoustic set. So very low stool, very low drums, and I started playing on it, and I sat down like this trying to play, and I started playing on it and started teaching myself from a book, the rudiments from a book. So I started teaching myself from Slamming Simon, who's a very good teacher for drums. And so I just got bored because I wasn't doing anything during lockdown, apart from being at home and, obviously enjoying the sunshine like everybody else was and what have you. But so I got on this kit and I started teaching myself to play the drums. And my husband said to me, he said, you can't have that, that kit's way too small for you. It's a kid's drum set. And I said, I know. I'm 5'9", so you can imagine being on a kid's drum set, how tiny it was. And I said, okay, you're right. And my daughter started playing it as well, and she actually plays the drums now at school. She plays, she does lessons on a Thursday morning at school, so she's really got into it. And when I turned 50, my husband bought me an electronic drum kit, which was fantastic. And so I just learn from my daughter, as well as like kind of self-teaching myself really online and things. So I love it. I love it's a great way of getting de-stressed. It is a
on the
great
drum.
way of getting it out of your system.
Excellent.
So that is one of my hobbies.
Okay.
Hobbies wise, I love doing boot camp. So I love Friday mornings. We all meet with a guy who's a running trainer. And so we do like circuit training, we do weights, we do running, down to the canal and back in between circuits and things. And we do that on a Friday morning. It's a great bunch of people. It gets you out, you know, you're outside. I did do the gym, but the gym just, I'd rather be outside doing exercise rather than being stuck in a stuffy gym, really. So I do boot camp, and I do a lot of walking. When I was a kid, I used to do a lot of mountain walking, and I still love doing that in the Lake District. So in the weekends, we'd go up to Lake District with our family and do walking up there, and done quite a few of the mountains in the Lake District. And when we get the opportunity to do that, we go up there and walk. Yeah, it's fab. I love mountain walking.
Oh, okay.
Cycling, kayaking, anything that's outdoors, really. I love just being outdoors. I love gardening. I've been in the garden all day today, actually.
Nice, isn't it, now, the weather?
Garden, so yeah. I love nature. I'm a big nature fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Over to you, Steve. Are you back on now? Yeah?
I think I'm back on. I'll try again. I'll pick it up again. But we'll get on to your recent award-winning screenwriting in a sec. But just before that, can we go back and talk about the start of your acting career when you got your diploma in performing arts at Blackpool College?
Yeah,
and then Mountain View Theatre for 3 years.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Do you know, it's a crazy story because I never did any acting at school because we didn't have any classes for acting when I was at secondary school. I'd always wanted to get into it, and I did things like write to the BBC and ITV and go, "Can I be on your show?" And they're like, "No, not really. You need to be trained." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." No idea how to do that. You know, coming from a small town, like I say, from Chorley, it was kind of like, where do I go with it? You know, so I ended up leaving college, and after college, I went and worked in an accountancy firm as a junior purchase ledger. And the girl that was in there was on the payroll, was about to go to Blackpool and the Fowl College and do stagecraft. So, and we used to talk, I always like talk about, you know, wanting to get into it and this, that, and the other, and used to do impressions of my boss and things. And it was, she said, "Well, do you know what? I'm going to do this stagecraft course. I'll send you a form and, you know, fill it in and see what happens," kind of thing. So I said, "Oh, okay." And I never thought anything more about it. And then in the meantime, I kind of got myself into going to Southport and doing some acting classes. And so I did that. It was only like an hour a week kind of thing, you know, to somebody's house and do these acting classes and what have you. And then she sent me this form. It came through the post and I filled it in, and I'm umming and ahhing, but I didn't and ah at all. I just went, "Do you know what? I have to do this because I have to see whether I can do it or not. I have to try, at least try." So I did. So I filled the form in and I took it. I remember it so vividly. Took it downstairs to my mum and dad and said, "Look, I want to do this." And they went, "Oh, okay then." All right. Where's this come from? And I said, "Well, you know, I've always wanted to try and get involved in acting." And they said, "Yeah, but you do realise that it's very, very difficult, don't you? And you do realise that you'll not have a car, you'll not have any money, you'll not have a job." And I was like, "Okay, you'll not have 2 holidays a year that you're having at the minute because you're working." And I said, "Yeah, but you know what? I don't care. I want to have a go at it." So they said, "Okay." And they've always been so supportive of everything that I do. And they just said, "Okay, well, go for it then, see what happens." So I did. I sent the form off and I got not an audition, it was just an interview. And then I got in, which was really lovely because it was a fantastic foundation to going to drama school. They had brilliant teachers there. They had a guy who used to work at RADA They had musical directors. They had, you know, people that movement as well and dance. It was fantastic. And we did shows there, and we went on tour as well, with plays. We did Caucasian Short Circle, and we toured that for a month with the school, you know. It was brilliant. It was a fantastic foundation. I mean, people like John Sim has been there. David Thewlis was there in the early years. So it was a real, you know, a proper good school, for you know, for aspiring actors. And so I got my diploma in performing arts. And in that time I was also auditioning in London, but I didn't get anywhere. You know, I auditioned at all the wrong schools. I auditioned at RADA.
Yeah.
I auditioned at Central Speech and School of Drama and Rosebery. And I tried to audition at lots of places, but it becomes expensive because you've got to pay
The travel.
certain places for auditions
Have you?
and to get down to
Oh,
London.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
The charge is
And
just
then
for...
to get down to London. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just you know, I auditioned at a few places, and then what I did was I thought, right, I need to get some money together and I need to do some work. So I got some work, and I worked for a year, and then I auditioned again. And the first place I actually auditioned at was Mountview.
Yeah.
And I loved it. It was a full day of auditions, of pieces, and of singing and dance, everything. You know, you did a full day of it, and it was I thought, oh, I really see myself being here. So I got offered a place, and I accepted it. I was there for 3 years, from 94 to 97. And then, wow, I mean, it just hit me like a brick wall when I came out of Mountview. I had no idea what I was doing. No idea who to approach, what to do next. And it was a case of, well, you need to get headshots, you need to get this, you need to do this, you need to do that. And it was like, okay, so all right then, how do I do that? You know, and so it was a real learning curve, trying to find out how I could get further along in my career.
Yeah.
So it took about 2 years for me to get work after I'd been out of Mountview. So I worked at Ticketmaster for 2 years. I went to shows. We got to go to shows and things because we were selling those shows. So we were allowed to, you know, go to these shows for free. And we got discount tickets for those that weren't free and things. But yeah, it was a learning curve for me. But I met people, you know, and those people helped me out. And then we used to do a thing called PCR, which is a casting, kind of paper casting that used to come through the post.
Yeah.
So I'd look for jobs on there. I'd look for jobs in the stage and things like that. So yeah, and got headshots done. You know, all these things that cost money.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Just come out of drama school and you're pretty skint, and you're trying to live in London. It was a difficult time. It was a difficult time.
I can imagine. Jumping forward now to now. So tell us about the recent award-winning film that you wrote.
So it was
Moxon.
it was we literally, it was via Twitter this happened.
Was it?
We well, I didn't, but Mollie put a tweet out saying that she really is desperate to work.
Mollie Hindle, this is.
Yeah, Mollie Hindle, that's right, yeah. And I said, I'd work with you any day, Mollie, absolutely. You know, I've seen a show reel, I think she's lovely. And so Paul saw it, Paul Moxon, who's Light Weaver Productions, saw the tweet, and he said, right, let's do something then. We went, okay. So he DM'd us, and it went from there, basically. So we literally started in 2022. writing, getting an idea. Paul came with the idea, and then we started getting our characters through improvisation. So we Zoom called each other, and we'd write from just improing on the call. Paul would have written something, and then I would go, not quite sure my character would say that. Should we try something else? Or and Mollie, you know, do the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Paul would be right, yeah, let's try different things. And sometimes Paul would write something, it would be brilliant, and you just go, oh my God, yeah, that's amazing. We definitely need to use that, you know. So all three of us together started to collaborate and write together. And it was just an amazing process, because it gave us the opportunity to really embody that character, bring that character to life, and bring all the layers that you have to do with a character. And it was easy, because the lines were coming from that character. So to actually be able to just, unlike when you get a script through from a writer and a director, and you haven't written that yourself, you know, you have to then go, you know, you have to think about all the things that she's trying to achieve in this scene, and you're trying to think about all the things. Where am I? What am I doing? Why am I here? And you know, and everything that comes into that play of developing a character. When you're writing, it's there. You know, the lines come, and then the character is just already there. You know,
naturally,
lines. Yeah, it's just natural. It's so natural process. Such good fun.
Yeah,
great to work with them. So then we finished it in 23, and it was probably July 23 we finished, and the rest of the crew, the producers, were going, so where is it? Come on, you're up next, where is it? And Paul went, oh God, all right. Well, it's here, we've done it, we've finished it. And so they had a look at it, and they'd already, Paul was already beaming about this script, and they were like, right, let's get it done then. So we filmed it in August 23. And then, post-production and everything just went, like Weaver did all that and got people in to do stuff. And then we went 3 weeks ago, we first showing was at Wolverhampton Film Festival. Yeah, and it went down very well. Yeah. Brilliant. It was great to see it on the big screen. You put all that work in and that effort in, and to see it up there. My daughter came, my husband, and quite a lot of my family came down from Lancashire. So yeah, it was really lovely to be able to show them what I've been up to. They'd heard a lot about it, but they didn't really know much about it. So it won an award. It won Best Original Music. It won for the Best Original Soundtrack, basically. Best Original Score, which Paul did. So he's a composer as well as a director. And so he did all the music. But he was like, I couldn't have done it if it wasn't for you guys, because your work that you did just brought the music, just like the words came out of us. The music came out of him because of what we'd done on the screen. So yeah.
Excellent.
It's a dark comedy. Yeah. I'm not going to say much about it.
Okay, no spoilers.
No spoilers. But yeah, I mean, if you want to get us on and talk about it, we're absolutely happy to do that.
Yeah. We'll chat about that.
Yeah. So we'll speak more about that when
okay.
in the next time. Yeah.
Okay. Just looking at your film roles on your IMDb page, which you can now add the writer's credit.
Yeah.
I was looking for something I could watch today, and I watched Cat Skin.
Oh,
you were playing Sally, April's mum.
Did
you? I didn't recognise you at all. The mum comes in, sort of whatever she's doing, but I thought that looks vaguely familiar. And I fast forward it just see if I could find you. Then I had to go back. I think it was the hairstyle. You look totally different.
Yeah, yeah. I can't remember. Was it quite bobbed?
It was, yeah, it was like a oh, do you know, I can't describe hairstyles. Yeah, it was a lot shorter.
Yeah.
Sort of, oh, do you know, I'm hopeless. I couldn't describe it.
No, that's fine. That's a few years ago. That was in
17, was it?
2017. Yeah, 2017.
Yeah.
That was great. I
Enjoyed that.
I'd just come back from taking 4 years out with my daughter.
Yeah.
Because I was 41 when I had my daughter. So she was going to be my only one, our only one. And so I'd just come back into acting, taken 4 years out. And so that was my first, that was my first role coming back in to acting again. And it did really, really well. The film won lots of awards and went all over the world, America, Mexico, it went everywhere. So it was a great film. I really enjoyed filming that.
We've connected on Twitter. Do you use any other social media platforms to get your show reel out there?
Yeah, I do.
TikTok,
I think the more
maybe?
you get, I do Instagram.
Yeah.
And I think the more you get out, you get your reel out there, the more opportunities you get. Some people aren't on Twitter and vice versa. Some people aren't on Instagram.
Yeah.
So, so you never know what you're missing out on unless you get yourself involved in social media.
Okay.
Social media has good and bad sides, obviously.
Yeah.
I just try to keep it as professional as I possibly can. You can get drifted into conversations and you go, no, I can't. I don't want to get involved in politics. And
yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It can become full time as well. A lot of people have said, like writers, it's an easy distraction, to just to sit and look at things on Twitter all day rather than writing.
Completely. You're just literally like that on your phone, aren't you? Or on the computer, and it's yeah.
What's next for you, Caroline? Have you got another role lined up? Have you got doing a voiceover, television, film?
Yeah, basically, I've been filming this film. It's a horror film. It's called DJ Kill. I've been filming it for just over a year and a half now, on and off.
Feature film is this?
Yeah, it's a feature film. And sometimes you get that with feature films because it's to do with funding and having the amount of right funding for it. And if somebody is self-funding it, they struggle a bit with, unless you do crowdfunding or GoFundMe and things like that. But he's not, he's self-funded it. So he's kind of, it's taken a while. But yes, I play the wife of a serial killer in it.
Lovely.
And she's also not very nice. Bit Myra Hindley, really. Ian Brady, Myra Hindley kind of esque. But yeah, I mean, again, it's a character with a lot of layers, and I've really enjoyed working with the crew and the rest of the gang on it, and the rest of the actors. But it's I've really enjoyed playing her so far. So that's I've got another date filming in 19th of July. We should be finishing it this year. Hopefully we're finishing it this year.
That's my birthday then, 19th of July.
Is it? Oh, really? So we're hoping to finish it this year.
When do you think we'll see this on the big screen?
I've got something in the pipeline in September. I've been approached by a director for that in September. So, but you just never know. There's always things going on. I mean, I don't just trust I do trust my agent, but I don't just expect my agent to get me work. I'm always looking for work myself, because otherwise you can't survive in this industry.
Yeah, I can imagine. Carolyn, for final question from me. The
Yeah.
time's absolutely flown by. What advice would you have to someone starting off in the industry, a young actor?
I would say to go for it. I would
Yeah.
say, but to understand that the industry is pretty saturated.
Yeah.
It's easier these days to get into things because of social media, but also, you know, you can go online and look things up. I never had that when I first started out.
True. But you had your parents supporting you, didn't you? Which was great.
Yeah, yeah. It's I would say, you know, get some training under your belt. If you can't afford to go to drama school, then do like evening courses if you can, or some workshops and, you know, bits and pieces like that. There's a lot more, it's a lot more accessible online these days. I used to do things like, I used to contact people at Rain Dance and do directors courses down there. I used to be the actor for directors courses down there, which is a great way of getting things, you know, getting stuff under your belt and experience. Fringe theatre, go for that. There's a lot of fringe theatre around now, much more than when I was starting out as well. I would say just be aware of the expense of it. Be aware that you probably do need, when you're starting out, another job to help you through it. I did. I don't anymore, but I did.
Yeah.
My job now is a mum, basically, and then an actor. So there's things like role play and things that you can get involved with. You know, there are lots of things out there these days, but I would say that you just need to be resilient because and dedicated, because the amount of no's that you'll get instead of yeses are so much more than the yeses. And it's, you know, it is the nature of it, you know. It's a very, very difficult profession. But yeah, I mean, you know, there's lots of people out there who are willing to help, willing to give advice. There's free webinars that you can go to. There's all sorts of things these days. Just go for it, really. And do you know what? A lot of casting directors even ask these days for not just actors, but for, you know, real people. So, you know, send off for that and see where you go, and do get behind the scenes, you know, get into your local theatre and you know, go and experience what it's like working behind the you know, in stagecraft or in makeup, or, you know, anything like that, costume. Just have a feel of the whole thing, of how it works.
That's excellent advice.
So you know, this it's easier these days than it was with me. I used to do things like get a group of us together and do play readings, be the characters, and everybody get their own character and do the play readings. And we used to do things at the Actors Centre. We'd pay a certain amount of money for a room, and together we'd all chip in and pay a certain amount towards it. And we had a director's friend who was a friend of a friend, and he came and we did improvisation stuff, and from that we made a film, you know. So there are ways to do things. I used to work, well, not work, I wasn't paid, but I did lots of cabaret stuff when I first came out of Mountview. A friend of mine who's very much has a massive following in cabaret now, he got loads of us together, and so we kind of did comedy scenes and things at cabaret. So we were down at the Cabaret Club in London, Regent Street, in the West End. We were doing stuff. We had like Matt Lucas came to see us. We had Boy George came to see us.
Brilliant.
You know, it was you just have to find ways of doing things, and and also just when you get a group of mates together, it's so much fun, you know. And if you're all like-minded and you all love being together and working as a group, and you're all actors, you just work off each other, and you can make things easy these days. You've got your phone cameras, you've got your laptop cameras, you've got never had any of that when I was a kid. I didn't have a mobile phone.
Much easier these days.
Oh,
Yeah,
completely.
definitely.
You can film things, you can, there's TikTok and there's Instagram, you can put on, lots of stuff, YouTube.
Yeah.
You can film comedy sketches and just do it that way, really.
Yeah, that's great advice. But Carolyn, the time has caught up with us actually. So, but
yeah,
listen, it's been brilliant. I really appreciate your time.
That's all right. No problem at all.
And let's keep in touch as we have been on Twitter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for now, Carolyn.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
See you now. Bye-bye.